What do you guys think about the people that run under third parties? Because I like agree with them, but at the same time, I'm like, we all know you don't have like a good chance at winning. Like, is this a clout chase? For some of them, I really genuinely do think that, even though I don't want to. Like, I agree with your policies, but you know you're going to lose. Why are you doing this? You know, I don't know. I just want to see what you guys think.
I feel like, I don't know, I guess you can't jump into anything kind of expecting to lose, but but in these situations, I think a win is different. Like the amount of percentage that you can take away from different sides is in general, I think, usually a win, at least for these folks. I think that's what they consider. If you can get a significant chunk of folks behind you, it's a win. Like, you're maybe not trying to take the seat, but I do think that little bit of, just taking away from, just the people, letting the people speak. I think that's really what it's all about. It's like letting the people have a voice to be like, hey man, like 12% of people chose me. Like, that is important. Like, that's big. So, it very well could be a clout chase for some people, just to, get in that, in that scene. But I really do feel like those small victories, like a win just looks different when you're a fringe candidate or something like that, or third party. I think that a win isn't the way we would consider a win to be. That's just
I agree with that 100%. I think that ideally, if you threaten the power structure, then in theory they should make concessions, right? Like, so for example, if the Green Party is taking in a big enough amount of Democratic Party voters, if our system worked, then they would try to appeal to Green Party voters. And Democrats have done that to an extent. For example, Jill Stein, she introduced policies like student debt cancellation. More Democrats support that. So a lot of these policies originate from these third parties. There are certainly clout chasers like Tiger King. What is his name? Tiger King?
No,
he ran for president and shit.
Like, he did run. Wow.
Yeah, there's people who run for president. But the problem is that we have a presidential system, not a parliamentary system. So it's not like Europe, where in Germany, for example, if you get like 5%, you can form a coalition with the Social Democrats, as Green Party did. So here, for me anyways, because I go back and forth. Like, I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. I voted for Joe Biden in 2020. I'm going to vote for either Claudia de la Cruz or Cornel West or Jill Stein. I don't know who's going to be on the ballot, so I'm going to vote for one of them. But I know that they're not going to win, because that's not possible. Even if they get like 30% of the vote, you win by winning the Electoral College.
Right.
But for me, it's just about like, it's kind of a protest vote. Like, fuck Joe Biden. I don't want to support the system. At the same time, I would reconsider if I lived in a battleground state, because I don't want Trump to win. So it's more like a strategy of voting. And I don't know how I would handle that. But I don't talk about that a lot, because I don't want people who are living in like a swing state that have to begrudgingly vote for Biden. I don't want them to feel like shit because they're making a difficult choice. Like, none of us want Trump to win, but we also hate Biden. So we're kind of backed into a corner, and we don't have a lot of options. That being said, though, I do think that there are legitimate criticisms of Green Party candidates and third party candidates in general. And it's that during non-election years, I wish that they would do more to actually do electoral reform. Like, if you do ranked choice voting and get that on a ballot initiative, that could, it's not going to be a game changer. So I don't want people to think that it's going to be a panacea. But I think that, like, the Green Party has really good organizational power. They genuinely do.
Yeah,
I just wish they would use it in other ways as well. But
I don't agree with that. I don't think they do at all. I mean, if they did,
well, they can get on the ballot. I think that counts for something.
I mean, why wouldn't they run down ballot candidates? The whole problem with third parties is
they do run down ballot candidates,
but they don't really take it seriously though. It's all, for most third parties, it's all about running a presidential candidate every 4 years just so they get attention. And they make this grand case that this attention will lead to them getting on more ballots in more states in the future, and that it'll trickle down ballot. And this has been going on for decades now, and we've seen nothing. How many Green Party candidates are in the House, in the Senate? How many Green Party candidates are in state houses? Yeah. I mean, it's just, they're not. And it's just like, I generally support third parties, obviously, but until a third party comes along that actually shows how they're going to get into power, let alone wield this, hypothetical power they have never had, then it is sort of a pointless thing. Because again, the whole argument that they'll make is, oh no, it's to expand our access. Well, but we've been hearing that for decades now, and it's done nothing.
Yeah, I think if they focused on actually getting congressional seats, that would make a huge difference. So I do agree with you there. You're not wrong.
I do encourage people also to concentrate on local elections. Like, I know everyone here knows who she is, but some people don't know who Shama Sawant is. Shama Sawant is on the city council in Seattle, and she was the reason why. She's a socialist, she's an independent, and no one shows up to local elections. The turnout rate is so low that she got into power, and she's the reason they got $15 minimum wage. She's the reason they got rent price freezing, and there was a lot of big money that came after her. They tried to what's it called when you not impeach, but when you try to they tried to primary her, and it was the real estate industry backing it, and there was a grassroots movement that fought back and won. So you can defeat within this exact structure. Just people always think about the sexy elections, presidential ones.
Yeah,
yes, show up, Berkeley. Show up.
Yeah.
I
One
agree.
thing I will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say I see a lot of content creators that are political, and this is no tea, no shade. Like, I'm not trying to talk shit on anyone, but they immediately okay. Let me get let me spill the tea. No, but they
name drop.
Literally, they immediately go for congressional seats. And although I do agree that congressional seats are important, I just think I love AOC. I'm literally wearing her sweater. I don't have anything against her, but I just feel like when you go in with the intention of being grassroots, you go into a system that's so large and so federal that it's so corporatized that as much as grassroots that you can be, you realize that, hey, if I'm the loud, person that I was organizing, I'm not going to go anywhere here. And then you kind of have to conform to the system. But if you go in local, so many seats are uncontested in local states, like in local compartments like city council, supervisor, all these different school board is super important, especially in southern states, incredibly important. And
you get to choose police budgets too if you in the city council.
I'm really good friends with an assembly member out in San Jose, and he tells me all the cool initiatives that he's been passing in California. And it's just like the most little things that you may not think about. Like, oh, no more towing is allowed because low-income families really, get hurt from that. So for example, right? So if you're a low-income person, it was, I don't know exactly what the details were, but he kind of put a lot of restrictions on the towing in California. And that's huge because if you're a low-income family, you have to pay $400 just to get your car out, So you can do so much change locally, and I feel like a lot of people just look at the federal races, and although that's great, I love having Maxwell Frost or AOC or Rashida Tlaib, I think they're very important, but at the end of the day, when you start off small, growing can also be so much more beneficial because you make so many connections. And there's also great organizations like Run for Something that are a nonprofit that can literally help guide you in your small race. So I could put that link in the chat for anyone that is thinking about running, but they're a nonprofit that also helps people. But I'm just saying, more people should run for local offices. You can do a lot of change. It's not just federal seats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One more thing that I will say on the third party subject is that even though there's always this talk of spoilers, I think that's kind of overstated, because when you have Green Party and Libertarian Party on the same ticket, they're both going to pull from the Democrat and Republican respectively, and Libertarian usually takes more from the Republicans. And one thing that people don't focus on with regard to third parties is if you don't like the top of the ticket, just participating itself is a net good, I think, because that helps down ballot Democrats, for example. So maybe you don't like Biden, so you vote for Cornel West, but then you vote for a Democrat congressperson. That does help, and it's the same is true on the opposite side for Republicans as well. So that is one benefit. But yeah, it is difficult because local races are so important. But for podcasters and streamers and whatnot, it's hard to cover that because there's literally thousands of candidates across the country. So it's hard to like get somebody excited about something that they have to kind of seek out themselves, you know, because everybody is very busy and preoccupied and doesn't have time. And everybody's like focused on other things. So it's really hard to get people involved. And like when you get involved in politics, you don't necessarily stay involved, right? Like I tried to get my mom to vote forever, and she finally registered in 2016 and voted for Bernie. And then Bernie lost, and she's like, I guess I'm done.
That's enough politics for me.
She's like, and I'm out.
Yeah. So you know, it's really difficult. She did end up voting for Jill Stein and down ballot Democrats in that election in 2016. She voted for Biden in 2020. She's like, and I'm officially done. But you know, it's hard to get people engaged because the system really beats you down, right? Like you get involved, you get kicked in the teeth. If you're like a millennial or Gen Z person, you know, you start getting interested in politics and realize how fucked we are, and then you're like, okay, I'm checking out. Mentally, that's the best place. So it's really difficult.
Up yours. Sons of bitches. Woke moralists.
I dreamed I saw my maternal grandmother. She was stroking herself absent-mindedly. I let her have her way. Her genital region was exposed. I let her have her way.